Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. Today we're going to go over the next potential storm next week. In today's video we're going to look both at the GFS and the European model, so let's get right into things. We're looking here at the GFS to show what could happen here in the future. It shows today we're maybe seeing some rain and snow showers up here in the northeast, with some rain and snow starting to move in. Not quite moving into California by this time here. As we fast forward, we'll likely see some of that rain and snow move on the coast here of the west coast. As we move into later today into tonight, we start seeing a little bit of that rain and snow move in to areas of California, Washington, Oregon there, seeing some rain and maybe a little bit of snow going on, potentially. As we fast on forward, we continue to see some of that rain and snow into Saturday here, and then we see a little system here in the central United States causing maybe just a little bit of snow, but doesn't look like anything too major. You may see a few flurries of snow there, but it doesn't look to be anything too major, even in accumulations wise. Maybe even a little bit of rain here to the south, but nothing too huge is expected from that system. As we fast on forward, we see even more rain and snow for the west coast areas, and then some rain and thunderstorms down in the south. As we fast even more forward, and Tuesday next week, we're still seeing that rain and snow going on here in the west coast near California, which will cause flash flooding and high snow amounts, especially in the mountain areas going on. And most of the rest of the U.S. is pretty dry by this time, even the northeast pretty dry. Just tiny bit of rain down here in Texas and Louisiana, but nothing huge. As we fast forward even more into the future, a little bit of rain and snow. It's California. It looks like by Wednesday next week we may see a little break for a lot of California there. But we do see another system moving into the central United States. This is the next storm that we're going to have to watch here in the Central Plains into the rest of the eastern United States. As we fast on forward, we start to see some rain and a little bit of snow potentially developing around Thursday here. A little bit of rain here around areas of Kansas, maybe Missouri, potentially, and then a little bit of snow trying to develop up here, maybe in the Midwest. The GFS model is showing this a little more north, as we said yesterday, and the European is showing a little farther south here, at least here in the Central Plains. But as we get into the northeast, it shows a little farther south, this model, and the European brings it a lot more north. So we're going to have to watch it very closely here as we fast forward. You'll see we're going to see some rain and thunderstorms occur here on Thursday potentially from areas maybe near Kansas all the way down here in the southeast being possible. Even some areas in the mid-south being possible. Some rain and thunderstorms being possible with maybe some severe weather being possible. As we fast even more forward, we continue to see those thunderstorms here in the mid-south. We're also seeing a little bit of snow going on close to areas near Chicago, from Wisconsin over to Michigan. We're seeing a little bit of snow, maybe even some heavy snow according to the GFS here. As we fast on forward even more, we still see that rain in the southeast with some snow going on up here in the northeast. So according to GFS, it thinks maybe the northeast will get on into some snow, and then maybe some rain and thunderstorms down in the southeast. As we fast forward even more, it shows maybe even some heavy snow developing here in areas near Pennsylvania, maybe Ohio here. Definitely something to watch close in the future. As we fast forward even more, it shows even more heavy snow. And then as it gets more closer to the northeast, we're seeing a little bit of rain here. Not as much of a snow event. Maybe a little bit of freezing rain going on here in areas of New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine. But as we fast on forward, it moves out a lot of that rain and snow. Maybe the little flurries left on behind, according to the GFS. And it's pretty much out of the United States by Tuesday. Then we have even more snow and rain going on for the west coast and northwest there going on. Now we're looking at our snow amount to see how much snow we may see with this system. Don't forget, this is still a week out till this happens, so this could change. I'm just showing you what the potential is here in the United States. As you can see, this goes out all the way to Monday here. With that system that's happening this weekend, we may see a dusting to maybe an inch in some areas of Kansas and Missouri with that system. So maybe just a little bit of snow going on in some of those areas in Kansas and Missouri, potentially this weekend going on. We also have a lot of snow, it shows, here in the northeast, according to the GFS, potentially up to 11 inches or more and even showing maybe up to close to 2 feet of snow in some areas near New York, Pennsylvania, and then some areas maybe down here in West Virginia and Maryland. It does show maybe up to 2 feet. But the chances are it's still quite far out, so this is still likely to change. The snow amounts could still go up in the next week and still could go down, but I do want to show you that as of now, the GFS is showing the heaviest pocket from areas of Tennessee all the way up here into New York, according to the GFS, as the European isn't really showing much of a snowstorm in some of these areas. Now here's the European model to show what could happen potentially here. As we fast on forward, we see that rain and snow for the western United States continuing. As we end the Wednesday next week, some of the snow moves into the central plains here, and this system shows potentially some severe weather going on in the south, a lot more heavier what the GFS is showing, and a little bit of rain and snow being possible here near the Midwest, potentially going on with maybe even a little bit of freezing rain there in Iowa and Missouri if this did come to fruition here. As we fast on forward, we'd still see some of that rain and snow, but it shows very light snow for the Midwest. It ain't anything too huge. Not very heavy snow like the GFS was showing. It's also showing some rain and thunderstorms going on all the way down to the Gulf of Mexico here, with potentially maybe a little bit of severe weather going on to this model maybe. Then as we fast forward, it continues to move east, and you can see this takes a little more northern track as it heads here into the northeast. We're seeing a lot more rain and thunderstorms going on here in the northeast, with some of that heavier rain maybe even here in the areas of the northeast, with maybe some severe weather being possible with some of this. Potentially, we'll have to watch that closely. And potentially snow going on up here in Canada, maybe even some heavy snow going on up here in Canada. So that's the difference between the two models. There's a little bit of disagreement where that snow will be and where that heavy rain and thunderstorms will occur, like this is showing here in the northeast. So it's definitely something to watch as we fast on forward even more. Still see some of that rain and maybe a little bit of snow moving into areas near New York, but it's not happening till pretty much the system is getting close to out of the northeast here. And then this is the end of the model run. It shows maybe a little bit of ice and a little bit of light rain for areas in the northeast, but nothing too crazy like the GFS is showing. What does this mean about the snowfall amount? It shows less snowfall here in areas of the northeast, as you can see. It doesn't show a feet of snow like the GFS is showing here with this system. So that's why I said we're going to have to watch this over the next few days, because this is still likely to change between the two models, because right now they're disagreeing quite a bit. As we get closer, this will likely agree on some scenario of happening, and I'll be able to tell you potentially how much you could see from the system as this gets closer. As of now, though, it shows maybe up here, according to this model, maybe some of those areas in the blues, 1 to 3 inches, darker blues, maybe 6 inches or more, and then potentially in the pink areas, maybe a foot or more. And there's only one little area here in the northeast, here in New York. So thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Please leave a like, subscribe, and share. It'd all be appreciated. Thank you guys for watching.